Robert Shannon. I'm farming down Clonakilty, Ballinascarty, West Cork. It's only a couple of miles from the IHFA offices. Wife Shirley helping on farm, Stephen and Sarah. We're milking on Shirley's home farm, where Shirley came from at present. It's 26 hectares. We're farming a total of 64 hectares. We're also farming my home place in Ballyhob, which is 35 miles away, and we run a pedigree Aberdeen Angus herd on the Gabriel prefix there. We have a few small bits rented for grass, and we have 14 hectares of whole crop wheat also on rented ground, which is used for winter feed. The figures up there, 2022 milk recording figures. We actually milked 92 or 3 cows last summer, but as you all know, these are the figures taken off the end of your milk recording report, which qualifying cows must have a 3 or 5 day lactation or they must be dry. Those 74 cows had a 358 day calving interval. Calving interval typically for the whole herd is somewhere between 365 and 371, 372 year on year. Milk yield was 9706 kilos at 444 fat, 365 protein, which gave us good kilos of per animal at 786 kilos. We utilise all the HFA services, especially the classification. You could be looking at cows yourself, but it's good to have independent view of what's happening on the farm. Average classification at present is just over 85 points. Stocking rate on the whole farm, which includes the whole crop wheat ground, the Angus ground and everything, is at 2.29. So on that we're not overstocked. But on the milking platform, we would be, like most people, a lot heavier stocking rate than that. We're complying with all the regulations and everything is good from that point of view. Lifetime value is 403. That's the figure that's taken off what every cow has made since the day she calved, including her dry days. It's off the new lifetime report that's coming from the milk recording with average lactation of 2.8 lactations per cow. Her DBI at the end of the year was 213, spread fairly evenly between milk, health and fertility sub-indexes, with a health sub-index at 13. At present it's 227 with a more or less a 50-50 split as well, and the health index is still 13. We've put a lot of emphasis over the last number of years of not using bulls with minus health sub-index, and I think it's really paying off when it comes to low cell count within the herd and less cases of mastitis. We haven't changed anything else, and I see a huge improvement or a marked reduction in mastitis problems. So hopefully the health sub-index is doing its job there. The system we're working on, we have what we call a split calving system. Now our system isn't necessarily split anymore due to the way the bonuses have kind of changed down in Carbrae. We have a limited milking platform. We're calving from mid-October until end of February, early March, not too many going into March. Doing that for a number of reasons. Well, there was a bonus originally, there still is a bonus, but it's very small now. It's giving us the opportunity to milk. A lot of people, when we go into go into spring calving systems, they end up drying for December and maybe January. A lot of cows don't get milked to their full potential. The fact that we are milking over the winter anyway, all the spring calvers, bar the fact they have to be dried because they're coming up to calving again, are given the 3 or 5 days, so we're knocking maximum potential out of them. We have only limited calving facilities, we've only limited calf rearing facilities, so by having, a split calving system or a longer calving season over the winter, we're able to utilise them better without necessarily having to construct more. So they're kind of our reasons for justifying staying in winter milk. If we get forced out of winter milk or we decide for lifestyle or other reasons to give up the earlier calving or the winter milk element of it, I think we have a herd in place with fertility enough that we can go to 100% spring without being a problem. The system we run is we put a very high priority in getting as much grass, quality grass into the cows as possible. Cows go out sometime early February, come in again sometime mid-November, into November, depending on weather. We don't necessarily have a grass cover in early January, into February to justify staying out full time. But let's take this year as a classic example. We went out into January. We got shocking bad weather in March. I'd know about bringing in the cows for 2 or 3 weeks in March. Our magic day, we still usually hit somewhere between the 1st and the 10th of April. While the weather is fit to go out grazing, we'll go out grazing within reason anyway. We don't have a diet feeder on the farm. During the grazing season this year we fed 4 kilos of ration straight through the winter. There was no more supplement bar. There was a couple of bales of hay put in as a trial to see and help improve the butter fats. I did access that at milking time, but apart from that was 4 kilos in the parlour. Over the winter, as I said, we grow whole crop wheat. We've no diet feeder. Sheer grab is what we have in the farm for feeding. They get, when the whole crop is open, sometime mid-November, start December, it lasts, the amount that we have, maybe 3 months. They get 100% whole crop wheat with about 8 kilos in the parlour, top up, and that's their diet for the winter. So it's relatively simple summer or winter when it comes to feeding, and relatively fast. You do have to feed a higher protein percent ration over the winter to balance the lower protein in the whole crop wheat. We put a lot of emphasis now on functionality and type in the cows we have. We have cows lasting a good few lactations. They must have good legs and feet to do that. So we're putting a lot more emphasis, maybe dropping back a little bit on overall EBI, which we were chasing a lot harder in the past, to looking for more of the functional traits and give them a higher priority than overall EBI. But trying to get everything right and everything balanced, that doesn't always work, but we'll try anyway. We pick bulls that are high in protein and butter fat percentages and high in kilos of solids. We don't necessarily look at the milk actually volume, but when you have high kilos and high percentages, you usually have volume, which is anyway. Breeding decisions, they're made on genomics, the type of cow, the strength of the cow family. We will be using all sex semen this year. We only used one bull last year that wasn't sexed. The year previous there wasn't sex semen. Be genotyping everything, yeah. So that's kind of where we're going from. After that, then I'd say over a third of the herd, maybe up to half a herd this year will actually be calving down to beef bulls. We use Angus or Belgian Blue are the two main sires we use, mostly Angus. We use a good bit of imported bulls now. We're finding there's some great Irish bulls out there. To identify them sometimes can be a bit of a problem, just to find them, to get the information. We're using a bit more imported bulls because the information seems to be more readily available as to their type scores and what's in the background. The heifers this year and the bulling heifers are out of Monte Mystic, Prince, Fraser, Omega Prophet, is a high EBI Irish bull, Conway, Alta Lawson. Now there's a few other bulls in there, but they're the main priority. We have a couple of cow families, I suppose, that Stephen and Sarah like to have for maybe getting a calf for showing out of, so there will be a few what we call show type bulls and a few straws then thrown in to try and produce a calf that they might be able to go out to the shows with, but at the end of the day they have to pay their way as well, so they have to tick all the criteria. Basically trying to keep the simple, get as much grass into the cows as possible. Our heifers are contract reared. They leave the farm from 2 weeks of age to 6-7 weeks of age, and they come back. The autumn calvers are back since June this year because we milked a few cows, less cows this year. So we had capacity or space on the farm for them. They came back in June. Spring calving heifers will be starting calving in January. They'll come back in December. And that's kind of the system we're running.